Hello, beautiful women helping women entrepreneurs. So excited to be here today. I'm going to be talking about what self-love is all about as much as I can in this 30 minutes together. So as you're hopping on, let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're watching so that I know you're watching. You just comment here in the comment box. So I also gonna be able to see your comments. So give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, leave me a comment as you're hopping on, and let me know what self-love is about to you. What does that mean? What does it mean to you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? So let me know. So it's gonna be my goal to try to break it down to you as much as possible in the way that I teach, in a way that it makes sense. And it may not be exactly what you've been thinking, and it could possibly be that you're not approaching your relationship with yourself the best way possible, and therefore it's affecting all other areas of your life as well, and especially your business. Obviously, this is where we're meeting as women entrepreneurs. So I'm going to be talking about the way that I teach self-love, but as you're hopping on, let me know what self-love is to you. What does it mean to you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love yourself? And as we're done, once we're done with the session, I want you to tell me if the number still is the same. Okay, but before we start, as you're writing, as you're letting me know what it means to you, I want to read you a quote from my self-love healing journal to get us started. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, let me find something. Let me find something to kick off. All right, so this is a simple but powerful quote. Don't forget about your inner beauty. Don't forget about your inner beauty. And I want to start it off by saying that a lot of us speak about self-love. We speak about self-love in terms of the way that we look, the way that we do business, the way that we take care of our bodies. And oftentimes what we don't realize is that we're saying that self-love is something external, right? If I take care of this temple, this on the outside, if I look good on the outside, that means I love myself, right? If I work hard at my business, that means I love myself. If I work hard at anything in life, that means that I love myself. And oftentimes what I see is that women overestimate that number that I just asked you on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you love yourself? They'll say, oh, it's a 7, it's an 8. And then I ask, so what's left? What will it take for you to raise that number? Well, I just want to attract a soulmate, right? I want to find someone who will love me. Not realizing that has nothing to do with self-love. So I always love to say, according to me, according to the way that I teach, self-love is about the relationship. It's about the relationship that you have with yourself. It's not what you do. It's not the way that you look. And it's not how hard you go at something. It's about the relationship that you have with yourself. And that relationship is based on, and that relationship should be honest, meaning I should be honest with myself about why I feel the way I'm feeling, why I am where I'm at right now. I should be honest about whether or not I am where I want to be, right? So I should also be reflective. I should reflect back. I should reflect back on who I used to be, and I should reflect back on yesterday to see, okay, so based on that, am I satisfied with where I'm at today? But more importantly, am I satisfied with the woman that I am being right now, today? And we make it about the moment. We make it about our relationship in this very moment. Because I'm also a relationship coach, and I coach couples with my husband. And the one thing that we hear over and over and over again, I wish we could have more quality time, or I wish he could pay more attention to me, or I wish he could just understand me or hear me out. And when does that happen? When does that happen? Well, it happens in that very moment. So when we lose track of paying attention to ourselves in every moment, and that means checking in with ourselves on all levels, on a physical level, an emotional level, a mental level, a spiritual level, on a sexual level, and really make sure that we are aligned with our highest self, right? And that we're leading our lives in a soulful way. That we're not leading our lives from a place of desperation, from a place of hurt, from a place of anger, from a place of, oh, I'm going to run my business because I'm so mad at my parents, or I'm so mad at my narcissistic ex. I'm so mad at my sisters and I've been comparing myself with them or my brothers my whole life. And I'm going to go hard at my business, and I'm operating from a place of lack and desperation and scarcity. And I'm calling it self-love because that's the way that I'm minimizing my pain, and I'm justifying why I'm doing what I'm doing the way that I'm doing it, and I call it self-love. But again, it's not about what we're doing. It's about the energy behind it, who we are being and how we're feeling about ourselves. And whether or not when we're doing something, if that's soul aligned, if that's aligned with our soul purpose, with who we are as a soul being. It's a huge difference. Patricia said, love your videos. We'll watch the couples one when I get a minute. Awesome. Thank you so much, Patricia. But like I said, if you're watching me, let me know that you're here and let me know your input. If you agree, if you don't agree, if you've found it be true in your own life. And if it hasn't, what's been your reality? So I think it's important when we make it about the relationship, we don't make it about a particular goal. So once I achieve X, Y, Z, or once I get this partner, or once my husband improves in this area, or once I get all my finances together, or once I get X, Y, Z, or a certain amount of clients or a certain amount of money, then I'll love myself more. Because I did make a post in this group and I asked the question, what would it take for you to love yourself more? And almost every comment, but a few that said nothing. Almost every comment, almost every woman that commented said something external. And when we make our relationship with ourselves based on something external, then we're never going to be able to love ourselves the way that we could love ourselves, because we are not responsible and we cannot control what's happening outside of us. So if you can get yourself to a place that regardless of what someone else does, regardless of what's going on with your bank account, regardless of what's going on with your clients, regardless what's going on with the amount of prospects you have or don't have, regardless of what's going on with your family, regardless of what's going on with your ex, regardless of what's going on with your children, and you're still aligned with who you know that you are. And who you are is not who you've been told you are. Most of us been told that we're someone we're not our whole life. And just having that realization that I'm not the person that I've been told I am most of my life, having that realization and knowing that is a huge part of waking up and starting to love yourself. Knowing and realizing that I am not who I've been conditioned to be. I'm not my parents, even though I've been acting like them and even though I don't want to admit it. I'm not my pain. I'm not my trauma, even though that's the place I've been operating from. Every decision I've been making has been from a place of trauma, has been from a place of pain and desperation and past failures. I'm not that. I'm not her. I'm someone else. I'm someone else. And as I'm embarking on this journey, the further I get on this journey of realizing that I'm not who I've been told and conditioned to be, now I start realizing that I don't really know who I am. I don't really know who I am because I've been identifying with things, with people, and I've probably been taking on a certain type of personality, and I've been carrying so many masks, and I've been pretending to be someone so I could live up to someone else's expectations, because that's what I've been seeing. That's what I've been seeing ahead of me, but behind me. And that's what people are expecting, especially if I'm the one that's different, that's going to be creating change and bringing in a lot of money. There's a lot of pressure. So oftentimes we operate from a place of lack. We operate from a place of lack because we're being driven by our trauma. We're not being driven by our soul. we're not being connected with ourselves. We're not operating on a soul level. We're operating from a hurt place. And that place is a place of lack. That place is a place where I don't believe that I'm good enough. And I have to work extra hard. I have to work extra hard to be seen. I have to compare myself with the next woman. And I'm afraid to go live because I've never done it before. And I know the other woman speaks better than me because I'm coming from a place of lack. I'm not going to go live. I'm not going to go live because I'm not good enough. I have to learn a lot more before I can speak, before I can raise my voice, before that I'm so passionate about, right? So there's a huge difference. Yes, when we truly, truly love ourselves, we'll want to take care of our bodies. We'll want to eat right. We'll want to exercise. We'll want to make sure that we set boundaries with other people and that we do all these things that that end up also reflecting on the outside, that end up being external. But first, they're coming from within. So every time you take action, I want you to check in with yourself and say, okay, so I'm about to take this action. What place am I coming from? If I want to do this workout, am I coming from a place of I really want to take care of my body? Or am I coming from a place of I hate my body and therefore I have to work out so I can lose weight or gain weight? When I'm dating, am I coming from a place of I would love for someone to add to my life and we can help each other grow? Or am I coming from a place of I don't love myself enough and I want this person? I want this person. I want this person to fill that void. I want this person to do the work so I don't have to pay attention to myself. And for some reason, I'm currently running a Soulful self-love program. It's a 7-day intense program where I'm teaching every day. And I'm noticing the women, they've had this expectation of that there is a magical answer. There is this key that you eventually find where you're like, okay, I removed this block and now I'm loving myself. I removed this block, I removed this block, and now I'm fine. Like we're supposed to get somewhere. We're always trying to get somewhere because in this masculine society, we've been taught to work so hard and we've lost track of ourselves in the process. We're not linear. We're not like men. We're not one way and that's that way. We go through 4 cycles each month. We're cyclic just like the moon. So we shift in the way that we're feeling. We shift in the way, we should also shift in the way that we're showing up because things are happening in our bodies. We have a lot of power. We have a lot of power. We're super, super powerful. We're super intuitive. We're super creative. But we suppress all of that because we've been conditioned to be a certain type of way. And we lose track of ourselves in the process. And then when we get overwhelmed, then we feel like we're panicking and we get depressed and anxious and people are calling us crazy and that we're too much. It's because we've been suppressing our truth. We've been suppressing who we are and we've been living like someone else. And we've been working so hard to accomplish something. We've been working so hard to accomplish something that we've been living a fake version of ourselves. So we cannot make self-love about a particular goal, right? I want to get here so I don't have to deal with this pain anymore. Or I want to get here so I can show this person that I'm fine without her or without him. I want to make an X amount of dollars, whatever your currency is, so I can show the world that I'm really living this life for me. No, that's still external. So self-love is also about being truthful to yourself, being able to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if you're living your truth, if you're being truthful to your soul, if you're living a life that is soul aligned, and if you're staying on this path that is driven by your soul, or if you're staying on this path that is driven by your conditioning and the expectations and the labels and everything else that other people placed on you, then most likely when you walked away from those people, now you added that same pressure onto yourself, even though those people are gone. And you end up living your life. You end up living your life trying to prove yourself, and doing all kinds of things that you claim are self-love, but they're not. It's not about what we're doing. We can be doing all the right things, coming from a place of lack, coming from a place of self-sabotage. being in a place of self-loathing, not loving ourselves, being super critical to ourselves, speaking negatively to ourselves, and do, and it looks good on the outside, and we may accumulate a certain amount of wealth. And we can't create from a place of lack. We can. Obviously, it's been proven, but it's exhausting. You can get sick in the process. And once you get to wherever you've been trying to get, because everyone is always trying to get somewhere and get something, instead of becoming the very person who is not dependent on those things or those people. And whether or not she has those things or those people, she'll still fine. She'll still great. She's still extremely happy. She's still extremely grateful, and she's still not comparing herself with anyone else, nor the timeline, because she knows time doesn't exist, and she knows that money is just an energetic currency. And when she gets aligned with her soul purpose, she becomes a magnet for wealth, for relationships, for anything else that she desires in life. But we seek these things outside of us. We seek these things outside of us, and it gets super, super exhausting. It gets super exhausting. Hi, Monica. How are you? From Washington State. Good content. Thank you so much. Everybody else who's watching too, let me know that you're watching. I'm seeing a lot of ladies on, but I am not seeing any comments from that many ladies. So I would love for you to let me know that you're watching and what you're thinking about this so far. And if you have any questions for me, I love to answer questions. I love to keep it as engaging as possible. You know, I can ramble forever because I love to speak, but it's more fun when we get to engage with one another. Okay, so now based on what I've shared so far, would you still rate yourself at the same number? Because you can be a super successful coach, a super successful consultant, an author, a business, whatever kind of business it is that you're running. But you can still be coming from a place of lack. And you could still be doing the things that you're doing from the wrong reason. And when you're doing them, you don't really feel like yourself, and you don't feel aligned with your soul, with your soul. You feel disconnected, and you're thinking, you're being analytical, and you try to make sense of things. You try to think of the next best step all the time, and you try to figure out how to get more clients. You make posts, you ask other women, how did you do it? 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 And you realize many times that everybody did it in a different way. Because once we're standing here, when we try to get somewhere else, we have no clue what the how is going to be. Because the how can never be figured out beforehand. The how is figured out once we get there. We look back and we're like, oh my gosh, that's how I do it. I would never think I would do it that way. Alice said, hello, we'll watch the replay to hear from the beginning. Sounds great, sounds great. Is that how you pronounce your name? Alice? I want to make sure I say it right. And we often lose track because we want to make sure that we figure it out first. And then we want to get all kinds of stuff, right? And then we think that once we have all that figured out, we can become the woman. We can become the highest version of ourselves that we've been longing to be. And what we fail to recognize is that we can become her right away. We can become her right away. And then whatever we do and whoever we're around, that becomes effortless because we're not seeking something from outside of us. We know that we are the source. We're the source of our love. We're the source of our joy. We're the source of our peace. We're the source of our own success and happiness, whatever that looks like to us. And when we stay committed on our soul path, when we are operating from a soul aligned place, magic starts happening. And once you get clients, you're like, oh, cool, awesome. And you celebrate it, right? But when you don't get clients, you don't get hung up on that. When you don't get customers, you don't freak out. Because it's about your energy. It's about how you're feeling about yourself that's going to attract or not attract the type of clients or clients at all that you would like to work with. In the past, when I didn't love myself, because I really didn't, I had a horrible relationship with my dad growing up, and he was very, very critical of me, and he would compare me to everyone around me, especially close family members, and made me feel like crap. I was mentally and verbally abused, emotionally abused. And once I was done living with my parents, I just continued that. So my dad stayed living rent-free in my head, and I just continued everything he was doing to me. I did, and worse. And I was coming from this place of I'm not good enough. And everyone I was attracting into my life, in terms of my dating life, it wasn't all of that. And I realized that all I was seeking was the love, the validation, and the affection, and the attention, and the love that I never got from my father. In the beginning, I was like, oh, there are no good men out there, right? No. This is crazy. I'm not going to do this anymore. But eventually I got to the point where I started looking at the pattern. I started looking at the pattern of what kind of people I was attracting into my life. And I saw a common thread that with each person, I was kind of like the savior. I came in and I helped them with something, and I felt like I couldn't really be myself. And it made me feel again like I was not good enough. So I really had to revert back and start doing the inner work, because I realized it's about me. I'm the common denominator here. And this is what happens with people who are getting divorced or are skipping from one relationship to another relationship, or who don't think that any of their businesses are going to work out, and they think it's about the thing. They think it's about the person, when the only thing it's about, or only person it's about, is themselves. It's always about us. When we're not seeing, and when we're not, especially when we're not feeling, because the physical manifestations obviously can take a little while sometimes. Sometimes they're instant, and sometimes it's the seeds that we've been sowing that take a little longer, but we feel it. We feel it in our bodies. We can tell by the comments that we get. We can tell by the messages that we get from people. We can tell by the things that people are writing on our videos. We can tell by the way that people interact with us and how they tell us that we've impacted their lives. We can tell. And although we're not seeing it in our bank account, we have this deeper knowing. We have this deeper knowing that this path I'm on, this journey I'm on, the soul path I'm on, it's the right path for me. And it's not about getting anywhere. It's about who I am being and who I continue to become in this process. And as long as I stay committed to her, as long as I stay loyal to her, as long as I'm not suppressing my emotions and neglecting my pain and pretending that I don't have this trauma, I'll be fine. I'll be fine, because I'll be showing up as me. And when I show up as the person that I truly am, people are naturally going to be attracted to me. They're going to want to be in my energy. They're going to want to find out what got me to this place. They're going to want to hear about my story. They're going to want me to help them with their lives. They're going to want to purchase from me, even though the next person has something similar, because they know the energy behind it. They know you're the ones that created it. They know that you're the ones that created your products, your programs, your courses, whatever it is, because it's you. And it's never about the thing. They don't come to you because you have the best product out there on the planet. They come to you because you're you. And when you are not loving yourself, when you're not committed and loyal and staying truthful to your soul path, and you fall off, everything else seems like it's crumbling. And then what do you try to do? What do we do first? We start looking outward, and we start seeking help immediately. It's amazing to get support and help in your journey, but not because you have to. None of us have to have a coach. But if we want someone to reflect back to us the things that we're not seeing, for someone to guide us through this process, because it's better when we don't have to do it alone. That's a different thing. The same thing when it comes to relationships. It's amazing. I love having my husband by my side. I love being able to work with him and help couples transform their relationships. Is a beautiful thing. I love having him support me in my self-love coaching business and encouraging me and coaching me and helping me on this process. But I was fine. I was completely fine before him. And that's the difference. We want the things that are added to us to be a bonus. and not a necessity. We are the necessity. And when we get ourselves right, everything else will work out. But maybe, and most likely not, on the time scale that you're expecting, because it's never about time. It's about alignment, energetic alignment, and the timing of things. Okay? Hello, my name is Paloma. This is my first time watching your videos because I don't spend too much time on Facebook, but I'm not too nice to myself. Sometimes I want to watch more. Thank you so much for sharing that, Paloma, and I'm glad you tuned in. Definitely what you can do, you can check out my other video I have recorded here, and then I also have a self-love group. It's called Self-Carved, and I have linked the group here in the description, so you can join my group. I do a lot of videos in my group. I love to go live and give content, so I have that. What else? What else do I have for anyone who's interested? I'm also doing coaching consultations. Self-love coaching consultations. They're $111. I only do them sometimes, so this is a great opportunity if you're interested in learning more about yourself and interested in working with me. And then yesterday I launched Voxer coaching support. This is where women get daily messaging access to me, and they get to ask me questions. I coach them back and forth and things like that. And it's just whatever you need at that very moment. My private clients already have this access to me. They already have full access to me, in addition to the coaching that we're doing monthly. So this is something new that I just put out, and a slot is already taken. So there are only 7 spots left, so I have that. Just want to make sure I put everything out that I have currently going on. And if you're more of the quiet type, not really ready to get out there and get that type of support, I also have a self-love healing journal. It's $14.99 US, and it's free shipping. And I've also linked the different ways that you can purchase the journal. This is the journal. This is a wonderful start, especially for women who don't love themselves and who still have a lot of healing to do. It's a lot of healing prompts. It's a lot of that. There's even a self-forgiveness letter. There's some strategies in the end, some activities, release affirmations that you can do. What else? I trust affirmations. There are prompts, 3 prompts on every page, and then there's a quote. And it's structured in a way that you work through your past first. You work through your past, then you work through and you focus on the present, and then we move on to the future. So this journal is powerful. Everything that I did in terms of healing and starting my self-love journey is in this journal. So this is a great start. Obviously, if you're a private client of mine, you get majority of my products. I have affirmation cards. I have workbooks, have a lot of stuff. But if you're like, okay, but I want to learn a little more about you, I want to see more of your videos, I really want to see what you're talking about, make sure you join my free group. And if you really felt my energy, and if everything I'm saying resonates with you, and you believe that possibly if we work together, that would be something amazing for your business and for your life in general, feel free to send me a message and ask me about anything you are wondering about. Okay, and I also link the different ways that you can follow me on social media. I'm Ivana Richey everywhere, so you can just follow me. I want you to ask me questions here. So I'm about to hop off here in a minute because my time is about to be out, but I want you to ask me any self-love questions you have. I'm here for you. I'm going to be coming weekly, and I'm most likely going to be coming the same time every week. So 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be showing up, and I'm going to be talking about self-love, or healing specifically, or I'm going to be talking about relationships. And I'm always going to tie it into how it affects your business, because we're all entrepreneurs, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we do or what kind of business we're in. If we're not loving ourselves, if we don't feel good about ourselves, and if we're always focused on the things that are going on outside of us, right? So let me be that person for you. And if you have any questions, make sure to ask me. If you have any personal questions, any questions about my coaching or any of my upcoming programs, my journal, or any of my other products, send me a DM. I answer everyone. But make sure you check your other messages too, because it can end up being there or end up landing there. Devin said, hi, I'm Devin from Texas. Oh, awesome, Texas. This is the first time seeing your video, and you're awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Devin. I'm so excited. I'm so happy you were able to join me. Well, ladies, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, if you're coming on the replay, also let me know that you watched. And if you didn't say hi to me, please don't be a ghost. Don't be a stranger. Let me know that you watched me. And if there is a particular part of self-love you would like for me to cover in the future, let me know. I'd definitely love to consider it. Okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.